Hello everyone and welcome back to Brooksburk Zoo. In the last episode we built a simple habitat for the Asian wild water buffaloes. We're going to have a look at the habitat that we built last week, and as I told you guys, I wanted to have something like a stable, so a shelter for the buffaloes, not like the one that we already do have, this open one, but I wanted to have a closed one because I thought it was a little bit lazy from me to not have something like a covered stable for those animals, as we do have something like a house or a closed shelter for every animal that we have in here right now. Why not for the buffaloes? You let me know in the comments in the last episode that you think that it is not necessary to have something like this for the animals. Most of you guys did, but I thought, no, I'm gonna give it a try. We have this free space right here, so why not use it for a little very simple build for those buffaloes, so that they can finally have a covered shelter, and yeah, I will be happy with that as well. So as I said, it is nothing spectacular that I'm going to build here, just a simple shelter for those animals. Why did I want to have something like this? Well, first of all, as I said, we are having something like this for every single animal in the zoo. For the penguins, the hippos, the hawks, for the okapi, for the African wild dog, for every animal. So I felt a little bit bad to not give those beautiful animals a covered shelter. And as I said, as we are having this free space right here that would be too small for another habitat, we are going to have this shelter right here. How are we going to continue? You might have already seen that this episode is going to take a little bit longer because of the building of the shelter here, and afterwards we are going to build the first co-joint habitat in this zoo. We didn't have, or we don't have anything like this yet in the zoo, because we have, like you see in many historical and old zoos, habitats for just one group of animals or one species and not share them with other animals. Shared habitats are very great for did I say shared animals or shared habitats? Shared habitats are very great for animals, because it is also some kind of animal enrichment if you have something like this, because the animals will share the habitat together and will interact with each other, which is pretty cool for the animals. And so I thought it is time to have something like this, and give Brooksburk Zoo a little bit of a modern way of being a zoo. So afterwards, when this one is finished right here in a few minutes, we are going to build a habitat that is for the Binturong and also for the Asian Small Clawed Otters that will, as I said, share the habitat. As you guys know, we are awaiting a new DLC which is going to drop next Tuesday on June 20th, which is going to be an animal pack once again, which is no surprise, because if you look at the timeline or what happened with the last DLCs, it was always something like a DLC with building parts, and the next one is going to be an animal pack with 8 new animals. And so it is this time as well. So we are going to have the Arid Animal Pack. I hope I pronounced that right. It's like if I think about it, it's like something like a desert or dry lands animal pack, I think, with 8 new species. So we are going to have, let's see if I can get it all together. We are going to have the Addax antelope. We are going to have the Dama gazelle. the Somali wild ass. We are going to have the sand cat, the dromedary camel, the black rhino, which I'm very excited for, as well as the porcupine and some kind of a snake. I just can't remember the name of the reptiles in this game, because there are so many snakes that we already do have in the game, so I can't remember the name. So maybe you can tell me in the comment section which one it is. Yeah, so this one is going to drop next Tuesday. This also means that there is not going to be a new episode next Monday, as I'm going to do some off-screen work in the meantime, to fill in the gaps between those, the habitat for the buffaloes and also the shared habitat for the Binturong and the Asian Small Clawed Otters towards our restaurant. And I thought about having something like a new area opening after that. So there's going to be the next episode on next Tuesday. Just this time, next episode is going to be out next Tuesday and will feature the first new animal from the Arid Animal Pack. So I thought we are going to build a new area, maybe next to the Madagascar house or next to the entrance on the left side, where we didn't build anything yet. So I'm not quite sure what we are going to do or in which place we are going to build, but I thought about a new area that is called the Arid Adventure. So I want to put in every animal that we have in the new animal pack in that area, which is going to be based around the desert habitat, dry lands and stuff like that, which is going to be pretty nice, I think. We're also going to have a new staff area in there, as well as a restaurant, I think. And yeah, it's going to be pretty cool. So yeah, let me know in the comments which animal from the Arid Animal Pack you guys want to see me build first. Yeah, maybe we should start with the rhino or the gazelle, the antelope, the wild ass, the porcupine, which is such a cool animal. I can't wait to build for those cute guys. Yeah, just let me know in the comments and I will be happy to build for those animals. After this Arid Adventure area that we are going to build, I think if we are not building it next to the entrance area, I think we are going to go to that area afterwards, because there's such, yeah, so many to do there. I have such great inspirations. I just watched a few videos from PS Vision Gaming. If you haven't watched his videos, you definitely should look out for him, because he's doing such great stuff with all those building pieces. He's using the tiniest pieces that we got in the game and built the most amazing things with it. In the last episodes, he built a petting zoo. And also a greenhouse, and I'm really in love with the greenhouse and with what he did for that, and I definitely want to have something like this, and I think that would fit the area close to the entrance on the left side of the entrance very, very much. And we also will have a huge staff area around there. So that is something that is definitely going to happen in the near future. And yeah. So, but back into this build. It was a little bit of a pain in the Somali wild ass. You know what I mean. Yeah, because once again we have the combination of path, barrier and water. These three don't go well together. And I don't know what it is, but I always do have a problem if I put the water in here, that one piece, just one piece of the barrier, I can't lower down. And this was the case here as well. For the piece on the left side, I found a solution in the end, but yeah, it was very annoying. So I wanted to have an underwater viewing area here for the otters as well. Something like we did for the penguins, so not a huge underwater viewing area like we would have for something like seals or the sea lions, which we are going to build for pretty sure in the future as well. Just small underwater gallery, if you want to call it like that. Yeah, I wanted to have something like that, so I did build this quite similar to the African penguin habitat, and I also wanted to have this land area on the other side, on the back side of it, for our Binturong, and combine the whole thing that most of the habitat is usable for both animals. So there's going to be lots of climbing structures for the Binturong as well, and yeah, a nice water part for our otters. Which were a little, which were little trolls in the end. You won't see it in the end because I fixed everything, but when I was finished with the whole build, the funny thing is that not the Binturongs did escape from the habitat, but the otters did. The Binturongs couldn't climb out, but the otters jumped out of the habitat, which was a little bit weird. And in the end I ended up, after I was not able to fix it in a way that everything looked good and realistic, I just did select the option that animals are not able to escape their habitats. So this was the simple solution that I had, and I thought, yeah, we're playing sandbox, that would be okay. So I just hope when someone does a tour through the zoo once it is finished, we won't have lots of animals running around in our zoo outside of the habitats. But yeah, I'm very confident that this will not happen. So for the backdrop I used the same structure that we also used for the sun bears. Yeah, which totally makes sense to connect these habitats together and make it look a little bit more cohesive, I think. We're also going to have an indoor area on the backside where I left this little space open right there. Yeah, it's not going to be something that our visitors can go to and see the animals on the inside, just a little backstage area for our staff where they can take care of the animals, leave food, clean up, and do stuff like that. Yeah, and here in that part I also wanted to have an area where our visitors can look into the habitat on the land area, so that we don't only have something where they can see to the water, but I also wanted to have something like this where they can get a little bit closer to the Binturong especially. And this is also going to be the part where the otters are able to escape, so where they can jump outside the habitat. Yes, of course, the landscape is a little bit high around next to the fence that I was building right here. I changed that, but the otters are able to jump like 2 or 3 meters, which is a little bit crazy. So they managed to get out there after I lowered the terrain as well. So yeah. Yeah, putting the barrier also around the in-game glass barrier right here, because I wanted to have something like, yeah, where our guests can view through the glass into the water, and I also wanted to have something like this where the guests can how to describe that, where the guest can look into the habitat on the water level, I guess. So here I'm placing just a little bit of this stalactite structure to cover up a little bit of the glass pieces. Yeah, just like that. Here you can already see I lowered the barrier down where I have that, yeah, where I built that wall. Yeah, and here you can see that is the lowest that I could put the glass barrier on the left in the habitat. So yeah, so I decided to have this structure with the stalactites that we have in front of the glass wall to put down here and build something like a planter, which looks pretty cool in the end. And also divides the water area a little bit from the land area, which totally makes sense in the end. Just putting in some of the mulch pieces. Now a little bit of rock work on the outside, and then I think we are going to build the shelter for the animals after that. Yeah, here you can see rock work is done. Now it's time for the shelter. I tried to do a little bit different this time so that we don't have the same shelter all the time, even though this is backstage and you're not going to see this if you are walking around the zoo, so you're not even coming close to the shelter. But yeah, in the end I thought I wanted you guys to see something or a different approach on how to build a shelter, and showing you different ideas, because I don't want to build the same stuff every episode, because I think that is getting boring from time to time. So yeah, I tried a little bit different. At least with the fencing that I'm using inside. But you're going to see that in a minute. Yeah, the habitat right now looks a little bit big if you think about it, that it's going to be for some smaller animals like the Binturong and the Asian Small Clawed Otters, and they might not need that much space. But what I didn't think about was that the Asian Small Clawed Otters would need some deep water in their habitat. So in the end I had to go back into the whole thing, because those little otters are not that happy. They didn't have any deep water in there. So I had to delete the water, make it a little bit deeper, and in the end they would need like 80 square meters or something like that deep water, and they end up with having just 28 square meters, which is not enough, but enough to make the animals yeah, mediocre happy. I would say it like that. They are mediocre happy. So they are okay with what they have. They are not overly happy, but yeah, they are okay with it. At least they are in the yellow, so it would not be a problem, I hope. So we are not going to see any protesters in this zoo, hopefully. Yeah, and also the land area is, I think we have double from what we would need for those animals. So that is pretty okay, because we are planning with babies for them. So yeah, it's always good to have more space than the animals need. Not just in the game, but also in reality. Yeah, here was building a little gate as well, which is not going to be functional like we do have in some of my zoos. And once again, I had to make that gate a little bit bigger because the animals, at least the Binturong, was not able to get out of the house. Once again, ridiculous hitboxes. Okay, so here's the part where I told you guys that I was trying to do something a little bit different, besides the gate that we built outside, which is a different one from what we did so far in the game. The barrier that I built in here, I wanted to have something, yeah, something a little bit different. I wanted to have a mix of a glass barrier and mesh fence. So I decided I was going with the glass barrier on the bottom of the indoor habitat, and for the mesh fence on the top of it. It's like something that I did in Litchfield at the hyena house, I think. Yeah, and also at the cat alley that I was building there, where you have the viewing areas for all those cats, where you have a viewing area with a glass view into the habitat, and on top of that you also do have a little bit of mesh fence. I think that would totally make sense for yeah, for circulation of the air. And I think that is the main reason that it is done like this sometimes. And not just that, not just the circulation of the air, I also think it is made for yeah, for the visitors as well. Because if you are going into a zoo, the zoo wants you to experience the whole thing, not just with your eyes, but with all of your senses. So I think smelling the animals is also something that the zoo wants you to experience, because this makes the this makes the whole thing, this makes it a whole experience. I hope it makes sense when I say it like that. You know what I mean. If you are going to a zoo, you don't just remember what you saw or what you felt when you are able to touch animals in a petting zoo or something like that. You also remember the scent of the animals. did you ever visit a zoo and see the maned wolves? The maned wolves are animals that I always say most of the times you don't see them in a zoo because they are hiding very well, but you always are going to smell them because they have such a strong scent. And yeah, so that is what I mean with the whole experience. So you can also smell the animals in the zoo, and therefore I think I'm talking stupid stuff in this episode. Sorry guys, but yeah, therefore I think this kind of barriers are as well, so that you don't have only the glass barriers, but yeah, if you would only have the glass barriers you wouldn't be able to smell the animals. Yeah, and I think I'm going to shut up for a few minutes because I'm telling you such stupid stuff in today's episode. This is, oh my god. Yeah, as I told you guys, pretty simple building, a little bit different than the things that we did before. And now it is time to finish the habitat for the animals. So there's nothing very spectacular to do for the small clawed otters, because they are happy with the water area that they are having. They don't need something to climb or something like that, just a few enrichment items for the animals. But we have to do some stuff for the Binturong to make the whole habitat look exciting and make it fun for the animals as well. So I was putting down some of these dead trees that we already do have for our sun bears as well, and also these artificial trees in here, where we are going to have some climbing structures on them and make it possible for the animals to also not walk over the water but pass the water via some climbing structures, which is going to look pretty cool in the end, I think. Yeah, that is always funny because I'm thinking back to the beginnings when I started with this channel, which is 1.5 years ago, I think. I hated to build buildings, I hated to build climbing structures. I was always pretty decent in building nice habitats for the animals, because this was the most fun part for me, building a nice habitat, having the animals in there, putting down rocks and plants and stuff like that. That is always the most fun part to me, and yeah, it was always the most fun part to me, and it still is until today. But nowadays I really do enjoy building stuff like these climbing structures. I'm not a pro at it, let's be honest. I might be kind of decent with that, but I'm not a pro. But I really do enjoy building those stuff right now, and also building buildings, which I do very often these days. Yeah, and I really do enjoy that. Who would have thought 1.5 years ago? Yeah, just give the structures a little bit of support. And I also wanted to have something like a little shelter around here. So I decided we're going with those Indonesian building pieces, with the wood pieces that we got in the last DLC, the Tropical Pack. And build something like a little wooden hut for the Binturong, where they can have a rest and don't have to go in the indoor shelter. I haven't built with those building pieces that much in the past, because yeah, most of those pieces don't fit the vibe of a city zoo like we do have here in Brooksburk. So it is a little bit difficult to use those pieces if you don't build something like a heavy themed zoo or a zoo in Indonesia or somewhere else in Asia. So I always try to put a little bit of the new pieces here and there. But yeah, as I already said, it's not always that fitting if you have an overall theme in your zoo. If you're just going crazy and mix styles and stuff like that, which could be cool as well, yeah, it would totally be possible, but unfortunately not in this zoo. And I also do have a hard time in Litchfield as well, because I already do have some kind of a style in there as well, so it's not that easy to use those heavily themed pieces there as well. Yeah, some more planting in here, and we are already close to the end. Usually I don't put palm trees or stuff in here in Brooksburk, because you know, we are in North America, so in the northern part of North America or in Europe. I haven't decided this at that point, still haven't decided on that. So yeah, I always hesitate if to put down some palm trees or not, and I thought if we are not going too crazy with it, it would be okay to have something here and there, and yeah, let's see how it works. Yeah, here I did a little bit of decoration with the Spanish moss that we have in the game, which I really like and I didn't use ever until this time. So I wanted to have something around here with those artificial trees, and yeah, and I really think it looks pretty cool afterwards. It gives the whole habitat a complete new vibe, I think. And I also used those new pieces from the last DLC. Those not rope pieces. You will see what I mean. I just don't know the word in English. You can tell me in the comment section how it is called in English. Maybe I should take notes when I watch videos from Caesar or the lady, or Leaf, or yeah, Simply Savannah as well, because they always have the words and I don't. So here's the pieces that I was talking about. I'm going to change that in a second because they were a little bit too big and it didn't look that good. But I wanted to use them right here. I haven't seen a Binturong use this overpass. Should I call it overpass here? Yeah. And walk over the water I hope that I will see one of those two guys do it one day, and I will definitely show you the footage if he does that, because I think that looks so cool. I really love the whole look of the habitat. Yeah, and with that being said, I was just putting down some enrichment items, and we are finished with the habitat. So the only thing that is left to do is have a walk around there and have a look at the animals and everything that we did in today's episode. So with that being said, I'm going to leave you alone with the last few minutes of the video. I hope you guys did enjoy it. Just let me know in the comment section which animal from the new Arid Animal Pack you want to see me build first here in Brooksburk. And also leave a like, subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any new episodes on this channel. And yeah, tune in next week on Tuesday when we are going to build for one of the new animals. So thanks guys for watching. See you. Bye.